There is no shortage of big-named NFL stars who are going to be wearing a new uniform next season.
Is there an opportunity here for T. Higgins to sign something long-term?
Most likely playing for another team in 2025.
So without any further ado, how about we dive into 10 NFL superstars who will definitely be playing elsewhere in 2025. Aaron Rodgers. After the New York Jets fired GM Joe Douglas in November, bombshell reports stated that the four-time MVP may be on borrowed time in Gotham. For one, it was reported that Jets owner Woody Johnson pushed for the idea of the Jets benching Rodgers amid a disastrous season. Additionally, Connor Hughes of SNY reported that New York prefers to move on from Rodgers after this season. And honestly, why should the Jets run it back with a dysfunctional and tremendously underachieving core? And do you really think that Rodgers wants to spend the final year or two of his career on a horrific Jets team? No, neither do we. We honestly have no idea where the Jets go from here since Woody Johnson won't sell this team, but it just feels like the Jets and Rodgers will mutually agree to part ways. T. Higgins. The Cincinnati Bengals were unable to agree on a new deal with their star wide receiver ahead of the regular season. Higgins ultimately agreed to sign the franchise tender that pays him $21.8 million for this year. The budget-conscious Bengals clearly have no interest in paying Higgins on top of number one wide receiver Jamar Chase, who is sure to land over $120 million on his next deal. With so much money tied up in Chase and Joe Burrow, the Bengals will have to find a cheaper replacement for Higgins. The big-bodied receiver will have no shortage of interested parties, though, when he hits the free agency after the season. A healthy Higgins has put up excellent numbers as the number two receiver behind Chase, but someone is going to pay him to be their number one. If you're Higgins, how can you turn down more money and the chance to be the lead receiver, as opposed to taking a discount in Cincy to play second fiddle to Chase? If he was going to stay, the two sides would have agreed to an extension by now. Deebo Samuel. Don't forget that Samuel requested a trade 2 years ago before agreeing to a 3-year contract extension with the San Francisco 49ers. But truly, for real, it feels like this is his last go in 49ers land. The 49ers are up against the cap after handing lucrative extensions to Brandon Ayuk and Christian McCaffrey. Starting quarterback Brock Purdy will need a new deal that is going to take up at least 9 figures too. The emergence of Juwan Jennings and the 2024 first-round selection of Ricky Pearsall should make this an easy decision for the 49ers. They cannot commit that much money to a complimentary piece like Samuel, who also carries a worrisome injury history. Heck, Samuel himself should be excited about the idea of a trade or being cut or just getting a fresh start of some kind. Like T. Higgins, Samuel can secure vital financial security elsewhere on a team that'll make him their number one receiver. Samuel would probably have to take a drastic pay cut to remain in San Fran beyond next year, so, don't do that. And don't expect him to stay. The Deebo era is now coming to a close in the Bay Area. Von Miller. Injuries and off-the-field issues have largely prevented the two-time Super Bowl champion from living up to his contract with the Buffalo Bills. After winning his second ring with the Los Angeles Rams, Miller signed a 6-year deal worth $120 million in free agency. That has bought them a 2022 season that ended abruptly with a torn ACL, a nightmare 2023 season that saw him start 0 games and record 0 sacks, and most recently, a 2024 season that saw him hit with a 4-game suspension. Buffalo's defense has been a top-tier unit without Von Miller on the field since he arrived in 2022. It just makes no sense to bring back a 36-year-old next year when he's hardly on the field to begin with. Cutting Miller in the offseason would carry a manageable $15.417 dead money hit, but Buffalo would also save $8.457 million against the cap. This should honestly be a no-brainer for Brandon Beane. His big game experience, 10.5 sacks and 3 forced fumbles in 13 playoff games, will make Miller very attractive to other teams. It's very hard to envision any scenario where Miller returns to Buffalo in 2025. Keenan Allen. The cap-strapped Los Angeles Chargers tried to get Allen to take a pay cut in his contract year, but the two sides couldn't find middle ground. After releasing fellow star wideout Mike Williams, the both split from both halves of their super duo by sending Allen to the Chicago Bears in exchange for a 4th-round pick. At the time, it felt like a coup for the Bears. There were high hopes for Chicago in year 1 of the Caleb Williams era. I mean, how could he fail with Allen, DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, Cole Kmet, and DeAndre Swift as his main weapons? The talent level was way too high for the Bears offense to flop. But, lo and behold, the Bears offense has been mostly unwatchable this year. It got so bad that offensive coordinator Shane Waldron was fired mid-season and replaced with Thomas Brown. Aside from Swift, none of Chicago's skill position guys have played played up to expectations. That includes Allen, who's on his way to setting career lows at the moment. In other words, the 6-time Pro Bowler clearly cannot wait to leave Windy City. Since Allen will be 33 next year, other teams will have to decide if he's past his best before date or if it was the Bears holding him back. Bottom line is that there is zero chance that Allen agrees to an extension with the Bears. He's going to test his luck in free agency, and hopefully he'll get the chance to compete for a Super Bowl. A short-term, incentive-filled deal would probably be Allen's best bet. Look, he would be a pretty fun fit with the Kansas City Chiefs. Just saying. Hassan Reddick. The Reddick trade has been a disaster for the star linebacker and the Jets. The only winner of this saga is the Philadelphia Eagles, who are getting a 2026 third-round pick for a guy who has hardly seen the field this year. But, you know the story by now. Reddick got traded to the Jets, then held out in hopes of a new contract. New York let him explore the trade market, only for Reddick to end the holdout and return in October. Anywho, Aaron Rodgers isn't the only big-name Jet who is on his way out. Reddick is still in his prime and will surely, hopefully, seek a team that'll pay him what he's worth, or B, a championship contender. Heck, preferably both. Truth be told, Reddick can't get out of Gotham soon enough. He will be on cloud 9 once he hits the open market and actually finds a team that'll give him top dollar and keep him away from a circus show like that of the Jets. Gino Smith. After winning Comeback Player of the Year honors in 2022, Smith was awarded a 3-year contract extension worth $75 million. The 2-time Pro Bowler had a solid 2023 campaign, but he's reverted to his old habits and is hardly starting caliber anymore. Smith is turning the ball over way too much this year, reminiscent of his Jets days. At 34 years of age, he shouldn't be viewed as their long-term guy anymore. Look, the Seahawks can save a whopping $25 million against the cap if they release Smith next year. And, well, given the amount of younger QBs available in free agency or via trade, you know, Sam Darnold and Bryce Young included, this just feels like the perfect time to move on from Smith. Seattle could even look at the draft to find their next signal caller. Lots of teams will probably be interested in Smith as a short-term option. So, at this point, it is clearly the best move for both sides just to move on. Joey Bosa. The longtime Los Angeles Chargers star is signed through the 2025 season, but I think it'd be a pretty big shock if he actually played out the last year of his deal. Bosa has missed significant time for the 3rd straight season, and, well, he hasn't been a Pro Bowler since 2021. His age, injury history, and insane $36.471 million cap hit for 2025 means that the Bolts have a pretty dang easy call here. The Chargers would save $25.36 million in cap space if they were to release Bosa. Even if he agrees to a significant pay cut, you gotta think that Jim Harbaugh and company will want to get younger and cheaper on defense anyway. Plus, come on, someone will absolutely take a chance on the 4-time Pro Bowler in free agency. This guy could really just use a fresh start anyway. Naji Harris. This won't be a popular entry for Pittsburgh Steelers fans, but the writing is on the wall. Even after a 3rd straight 1,000-yard season in 2023, Harris had the 5th-year option on his rookie contract declined. The Steelers are clearly planning to do the smart thing, avoid paying top dollar to a devaluing position. And as great as Harris is, Jalen Warren also flashed the ability to be an RB1 with the 1,154 yards of offense that he posted in 2023. A pending RFA, Warren will cost a fraction of what Pittsburgh will have to pay a player who is on his way to a 4th straight 1,000-yard season. But Harris deserves to chase the money that he deserves, and it's not coming from a Steelers team that's gotta manage their cap situation safely. Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold is basically in Nick Foles' Philadelphia Eagles territory. You know, basically a thank you for saving our season and goodbye. Foles led the Eagles to a Super Bowl 52 championship in the 2017 season after Carson Wentz went down with an ACL tear. After Wentz went down with another injury in 2018, Foles rallied the Eagles back into the postseason. But Philly ended up choosing Wentz over Foles, who signed with the Jacksonville Jaguars in free agency. And we think a similar fate awaits Darnold with the Minnesota Vikings. Yeah, he's enjoying a career year under Kevin O'Connell and has many in Super Bowl contention. But make no mistake about it, this is J.J. McCarthy's team. The Vikings moved up to select the Michigan QB 10th overall. If they weren't high on J.J., they wouldn't have used a 1st-round pick on him. They probably would have seen what Darnold could do first. McCarthy underwent season-ending surgery on his meniscus before Week 1 even kicked off. So hey, good on Darnold for making the most of the opportunity. But the Vikings aren't about to give up on McCarthy before he even plays a snap for them. Darnold shrugged off the bus label and showed everyone shown that he can be a great QB. It's not his fault that the Jets and Carolina Panthers let him down, so I'm sure that someone will want to pay him what he's worth. And trust us, plenty of teams need a new starting QB. Darnold has been a real feel-good story in Minnesota, but he'll exit in free agency and join a team that can promise him the QB1 gig, and McCarthy will end up taking over as the Vikings starter. This is just the most logical route that we see. But hey, which other NFL superstars will definitely be on a new team in 2025? Let us know in the comment section below. If you like this video and learned a thing or two, clicking the like button helps out a ton, and you know, we really appreciate it. If this is your first time coming around to TPS though, then hey, subscribing is a great idea because we put out videos like this every single day. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.